Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Nangayate Girudya Kripatam Ham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarine. Hare Krishna. So very happy new year to you all, and Jai Shri Krishna. Today is the first discussion session of this year, and let us hope that we can continue reading Bhagavad Gita every day in this year also. Because of cooperation from all, last year we were able to do. So today we'll see verse number 19 of chapter 13. And Krishna has almost concluded his explanation about Geya, the object of knowledge, which is the individual soul and the super soul. So this verse actually is the summary, what we can say. Krishna also gives the summary before going to the next topic. Okay, so let us see this verse. Iti kshetram tatha jnanam
Iti kshetram tata jnanam
Geyam choktam samasataha
Geyam choktam samasataha
Madbhakta etad vikyaya
Madbhakta etad viggaya
Madbhava yopapatyate.
Madbhava yopapatyate.
Please chant.
Iti kshetram tata jnanam Geyam choktam samasataha Madbhakta etad viggaya Madbhava yopapatyate.
इति क्षेत्रं तथा ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं चोक्तं समासता मद्भक्त एतद्विज्ञान मद्भावायोपपद्यते.
Translation and purport. Thus, the field of activities, the body, knowledge, and the knowable have been summarily described by me. Only my devotee can understand this thoroughly and thus attain to my nature. Purport. The Lord has described in summary the body, knowledge, and the knowable. This knowledge of three things, the knower, the knowable, and the process of knowing, combined, these are called Vijnana, or the science of knowledge. Perfect knowledge can be understood by the unalloyed devotee of the Lord directly. Others are unable to understand. The Munis say that at the ultimate stage, these three items become one. But the devotee do not accept this. Knowledge and development of knowledge mean understanding oneself in Krishna consciousness. We are being led by material consciousness. As soon as we transfer all consciousness to Krishna's activities, and realize that Krishna is everything, then we attain real knowledge. In other words, knowledge is nothing but preliminary stage of understanding devotional service perfectly. In the 15th chapter, this will be clearly explained. Now, to summarize, one may understand that verse 6-7, beginning from Mahabhutani and continuing through Chetana Dhriti, analyze the material elements and certain manifestations of symptoms of life. These combine to form the body and the field of activities. And verse 8 through 12, from Amanitvam through Tattva Janardhana Darshanam, describe the knowledge of process of knowledge for understanding both types of knower of the field of activities, namely soul and the super soul. Then verse 13 through 18, beginning with Anadi Mat Param, continuing through Riddhi Sarvasya Vishtititam, describe the soul and super soul, or supreme lord or the super soul. Thus, three items have been described: the field of activity, body, process of understanding, and both the soul and the super soul. It is specially described here that only the unalloyed devotee of the Lord can understand these three things clearly. So, for these devotees, Bhagavad Gita is fully useful. It is they who can attain the supreme goal, the nature of the supreme Lord, Krishna. In other words, only devotees, not others, can understand Bhagavad Gita, can derive the desired results. So, as we are discussing, like this verse actually summarizes the first 18 verses, and because this chapter specifically is like Jnana Yoga and Sankhya Yoga, we can find that there is clear ending of answering of one question, and the Krishna starts the next topic in the uh, subsequent verse. So right now, see, Krishna has summarized what is being informed or discussed or instructed till now. Then he will go to the next topic, because Arjuna asked the question about Prakriti also and Purusha also. So that he has to still explain. But those were the first questions, and this um, field of activity, knowledge, and the knowable. These were the next questions. But Krishna answered these first so that the other answers become relevant or understandable. So here Krishna says Kshetra, Jnana, and Geya are explained. Actually, that is the knowledge of the our identity and our relationship with the Supreme Lord. And like in this verse also we see Mad Bhakta Etat Vijnana. So here also Krishna has stressed the point of bhakti or devotional service. So when he explained about the qualities in verse 8 to 12 also, and the foremost quality was explained about the devotional service. So bhakta. So here also Mat Bhakta, Krishna says very clearly. So his devotees. So he's not just saying bhakta. Is Mad Bhakta. That is very clear instruction and clear direction, you can say. He can, his devotee or his bhakta can understand these things clearly. Otherwise, it is difficult to understand. So, because, see, if I have to understand a satellite, for example, how the satellite works, and I have no background of the satellite knowledge and all these things. So if I try to understand satellite on my own by reading the books or seeing the YouTube videos and all, that's not possible. There should be someone who will teach me everything. What is satellite, how it is made, how it works, how it goes, how its calculation. Somebody has to explain. Then only I will understand. By reading the Google or by YouTube, I can get little bit idea, but that will not be the perfect knowledge to understand the reality of that satellite. So this is a simple example that if I don't know something, I have to surrender to somebody, to someone who knows that as satellite thing. Then I can understand. Similarly, when we are trying to understand God or the nature or how this world is made, we have to take shelter of Shastra or devotees like Krishna, Mad Bhakta, right? So when his devotees who are explaining this, then we can understand Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavatam also says that try to listen the Shastra from the people who are following what is mentioned in the Shastra, and they are trying, following, at least they are trying to follow the Shastra, and they try to follow what they speak. When you hear from such devotees, then you understand the the real purpose of the Shastra and real knowledge. So Krishna also giving the same instruction here. So that's why Bhagavad Gita is always a open secret. It's completely open. Anybody can buy Bhagavad Gita. Anybody can read Bhagavad Gita. But the real purpose and what actually Krishna wants to tell, very few will understand that because of the source from which they are trying to understand. So in the bhakti part, when we see that we saw the chapters from 7 to 12, Krishna always emphasized on the surrender and the devotional service. So even if you have so much qualified, you have all the knowledge, but even if you don't do bhakti at the end, you will not achieve the perfection. So this being the Jnana Yoga section of Bhagavad Gita, still in the Jnana Yoga also, Krishna is telling that even if you analyze all the material world, and even if you reach to the point of conclusion that yeah, soul and super soul are the ultimate and we have relationship, but still if you want to understand the complete whole, then you need bhakti. Without that, you cannot understand the full nature or full purpose of Bhagavad Gita or God. So bhakti is the inseparable part in understanding God. So Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga, even in Ashtanga Yoga also in the 6th chapter, we saw that even if the yogi establishes himself in the Samadhi, he has to think of the Supreme Lord. Then only he reach there. Otherwise he cannot. Right? So in Ashtanga Yoga also it's required. In Jnana Yoga also, Mad Bhakta, so bhakti is required. So even if you have all the qualities, those are explained in from 8 to 12, which help us to go beyond this material world. But if you don't have bhakti, then those qualities will not give the complete or the perfect result. So bhakti is required. So in this shloka, Srila Prabhupada also in the purport summarizes what we have seen in this chapter till now. After the Arjuna's question, Krishna started explaining how the material, we saw that in the Excel file, how the material world is created. Created means what it is made up of, our body, 24 elements. Then Krishna explained about the qualities which he called knowledge, because with the help of those qualities, we can actually transcend this material nature. Then Geya, the object of knowledge, the soul and the super soul. And yesterday also we saw that the purpose of knowledge and the goal of knowledge. So we say object of knowledge and the goal of knowledge are different in material life. So we saw the example of corona. So scientists will study the coronavirus, how it is made, what is the cure, how we can overcome it. So their purpose of their study is to overcome the coronavirus. So that is the goal. So the object is corona, but the goal is to overcome corona. So the object and the goal is different. But when we do say study of Shastra like Bhagavad Gita, we try to understand the object of knowledge is Supreme Lord. And the goal is also to reach the Supreme Lord, or at least have love for the Supreme Lord. So the goal and the object becomes the same. That's the spiritual part. So that's why the spiritual thing is always absolute. So the supreme goal, like Srila Prabhupada concludes, that supreme goal can be achieved by devotees because they surrender to Lord. And then Lord gives the knowledge and intelligence because our intelligence and mind and knowledge is material. To understand the spiritual, we need somebody from there to give us the knowledge. So that is done by the Supreme Lord. And then we understand the ultimate goal and the Bhagavad Gita also. So we are somehow reading Bhagavad Gita every day. And I told yesterday also, it helps me also a lot by reading Bhagavad Gita and discussing with all of you. Though it's very short time, 10 to 15 minutes, but it's the most important time of the day that I always keep to read and discuss. So let us continue to read. And of course, please be open in the discussions. If you want to share something, it's not that only I speak. Anybody can share their comments and realizations, and even on the topic, if there is something that they have heard, you have heard somewhere, it can be shared with all of us. It only helps all of us. So thank you very much for joining today also. And Happy New Year to all. Let us pray to Krishna for everybody's mental peace and strength and healthy life. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Anybody wants to add anything, say something?
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Your lectures helps a lot. Although I am not able to hear every day,
It's okay. Yeah, I understand.
but it's really valuable. Like in our practical life, we can apply it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for encouraging.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we'll see the next words tomorrow when Krishna will start the answering next questions from Arjuna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Please take care. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.